the cloud. Okay, so cool. This is recording. We can actually get started. What I also am probably going to do is drop the Zoom link on Twitter just in case.
Okay.
Strictly Twitter people. Okay, we can just go ahead and get started. And then everybody, thank you for joining. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and I will relay them back to Irene. So we're using Zoom so that she can share her screen because you can't do that with Facebook. Thank you, Rafiq. That's some dope names. So we're streaming via Zoom because we can't do that via Facebook, share screen via Facebook. So please feel free to ask questions throughout. I will collect them and then relay them over. Okay, Curtavius and Kendrick, are you saving the live? I have to step out real quick, don't want to miss. Yes, I'm recording it. So go ahead and step out, come right back. All right, Irene, I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. So what are we covering today? Today we are covering the importance of banking like a business, how to get your books in order, things that you can write off in your business. I think as small business owners, like I do a lot of small business taxes, and I have so many clients that they just be all over the place with everything. And I'm just like, this is going to cost you way more money than it should for me to fix when you could just get it right. And then it'll be easier for you as a business owner, just to be able to see like where your money is going. It'd be easier in the case you get audited by the IRS, and you're going to save yourself some money, because if your books is all over the place as your tax preparer, if I do have to do your bookkeeping and your books is all over the place, it's not going to be a favorable fee for you. So that's what we're covering today. So banking and taxing like a business, things you need to know so your business does not look like a hustle, presented by me. Quick rundown of who I am. So my name is Irene Day. I am located in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a certified financial literacy instructor, credit expert, and CEO of Hannah Financial Corporation. So Hannah Financial was actually LLC, and I changed my election with the IRS to be taxed as an S Corp. So I pay my business taxes quarterly. How did I get started in the financial service industry? So my why, long story short, I spent $30,000 in cash in 2014 attempting to repair my own credit. I could not find any reliable help. So I ended up building my own financial services company. And here we are. I officially launched in 2017 and was able to scale my business to a six-figure company by the end of 2018. So yeah, I'm kind of decent at what I do. So why does your business look like a hustle? So these are the three top things that I see that we make mistakes on as being small business owners. One, we do not have a business bank account. So if you are a business, and it does not matter how much revenue you are bringing in, whether it's a little bit, whether it's a lot, you need to have a completely separate bank account for your business, and not another personal account where you might do business out of. You need to have an actual business bank account. And if you're feeling real fancy, get a business savings account. So I have a business savings account, and I transfer, like every time I get deposits, I transfer 20% of whatever that deposit is into my savings account for taxes. 2018, I got a pretty hefty tax bill because I was not putting away money that I was making in my business to be able to still pay the IRS. Terrible bookkeeping. What is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is basically keeping up with the expenses in your business and the money that you are generating in your business. If you have a business bank account, that's going to help you tremendously. Bookkeeping, you don't necessarily need to hire a bookkeeper, especially starting out, but there are a lot of great platforms that you can use to do your bookkeeping. One of them is QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks in my business. With QuickBooks, you can actually, like if you have more than one business bank account, you can actually attach or connect more than one business account to your QuickBooks. And QuickBooks will basically, everything that you're spending out of your business account, whether it's like with your business debit card or through check, bank transfers, it will literally categorize every single expense that you are making in your business. I have a lot of return tax clients because we offer tax prep and credit repair. I had a lot of returning clients from 2018 that I made sign up for QuickBooks. And they're like, Irene, I had no idea that this literally was breaking down everything that I needed. Yeah, every single thing. And now, since you didn't need me to do bookkeeping, you just saved yourself $1,000 on your tax prep bill because I didn't have to sit and go through every single last bank statement that you had. And the last thing, not filing your business on your actual taxes. So personally, one of the things that I ran into, I started my business in 2017, but I think I only made like $14,000 that year in my business. So I kind of didn't claim my business on my taxes. But then it bit me in the ass because when I went to go and take a home equity loan out of one of the houses that I own, I couldn't because I didn't have, even though I was in business for 2 years, I didn't have 2 years of business tax returns. So even if you are claiming a loss in your business, you can actually claim a loss in your business, like a total loss, 3 consistent years. So 3 consecutive tax years, but you still need to actually file your business on your tax returns. So 4 steps that we can do to make sure that we are squared away. First, you need to register your business as an entity with your state. So some states you can actually register your business as an LLC, S Corp, or C Corp online. Then you need to register with the IRS, get an EIN number, which is an employee identification number. Your business should have a separate, your EIN number is basically your social security number for your business. So you should be putting it on like your business bank account application. They're going to ask for your EIN paper from the IRS. They're going to ask for your articles of incorporation, and they're going to ask for your actual ID just to make sure that the person opening the bank account is an actual like citizen. Then you want to open a business bank account, get a savings account too. I cannot tell y'all, like, as business owners, I know personally, I really wasn't worried about or really thinking about putting money aside to pay my taxes, and ended up with a $20,000 tax bill in 2018 and couldn't figure out like, oh, where am I about to get $20,000 from that I should have been just stashing away while I was making money to pay my taxes. And get bookkeeping software. So I've used, it was QuickBooks and something else. Whatever I used, the other one I only used for like 2 months and I absolutely hated it. And I ended up getting QuickBooks. I actually have a discount link for you guys. So if you get QuickBooks, you can get it at 50% off. So it'll be like $12 a month. It costs money to make money, period. Like there are very few, actually, I don't know any businesses that you can start or run or manage, like even consultant businesses, where you don't have to put any money into your business or have any systems in your business to operate properly. So definitely get a bookkeeping system. If you're feeling fancy, you can hire a bookkeeper, but 9 times out of 10, your bookkeeper is using QuickBooks. So I know a lot of people charge like $300 a month for bookkeeping, and out of that $300 a month, they're probably paying like $25 to connect QuickBooks to your bank account and business credit cards to be able to track your expenses and like what you're making in your business, when you really could just pay for that yourself. This is like my favorite part. So what can we write off as a business? A lot of times people don't understand, like I tell them all the time, it takes money to make money. And the IRS understands that. So if I have a business that made me $30,000, I'm pretty sure about like 5 to 10 of that was probably in operating costs. So things that I had to spend money on in my business. Anything that you spend money on in your business, for the most part, is something that you can write off in your business. There's 19 different categories that the IRS actually, like, that breaks down with the IRS of things that you can write off in your business. So I just want to go over a couple of these, and we can do questions too. So if you guys have questions like, is this particular thing something that would be a business expense, put it in the comments and we can cover that. But these are the
one. I'm gonna interrupt, but I know we can do rolling questions.
No, go ahead.
Rakia just asked. She says, "So I have a bag making business. Would these steps be useful for me as well?"
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. It does not matter what type of business you have, whether it's something service-based, something product-based. So if you sell a product, if you sell a service, if you do consulting, if you have employees, if you don't have employees, this is literally like the starting point. Like, your business does not count as a business until you're registered as an entity, you have an EIN, and you have a business bank account at the bare minimum.
And you need to have an EIN to have a business bank account.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. You got to have, so if you register your business as an LLC, you'll need your articles of incorporation. So basically the piece of paper that the state gives you, and your EIN paper from the IRS to open up an account. And really stay away from sole proprietorships. Like, once you guys get into like building business credit and things of that nature, you cannot separate your business credit from personal credit if you have a sole proprietorship. So like, if you have a sole prop, all of the credit cards that you get will reflect on your personal credit if you are not registered as an LLC or S Corp or C Corp. So just pay, I think in Ohio it was like $99 to register as an LLC. So just pay that money, like, understand that it takes money to make money, and that money that we spend to incorporate our businesses, that's a business expense. That's something that you can write off. That would actually be probably like legal and professional fees. Boom. So the top categories, advertisements. So if you guys are running ads on Facebook, if you're running ads on Instagram, you can write that off. Contract work. So if you hired a graphic designer, to design your flyers, if you had a web designer do your website, that's something that you can write off. Employee, what does it say? Hold on, let me move this thing. Employee benefits program. So if you have like employees and you have employee benefits, those and wages are something that you can write off. So you got a team of 5 people, anything that's on payroll, that's a business expense that you can write off. Once you become a business, you are literally only paying taxes on what you profited in your business. Insurance, if you guys have business insurance, which you definitely should, regardless of if it's a service-based business or a product-based business, you need to have some type of insurance in your business. If you are service-based, you need to have errors and omissions, especially if you offer any type of financial consulting. Office expenses, if you guys rent an office, any supplies you need for the office, the rent itself, something that you can write off. Travel, so I travel a lot, like I do like credit workshops and stuff. I flew to Nashville this weekend to pull up on one of my credit repair clients. He's actually from Cleveland and he bought a house in Nashville. So pulled up on him this weekend, got a video testimonial, paid his first month's mortgage, whole trip, my hotel stay, my videographer stay, my flight, travel for my videographer fee. Those are all business expenses, things that can be written off. Car and truck expenses. So something that changed with the new tax laws in 2018. I don't know if you guys have corporate jobs, but like, if you ever seen people in corporate and they have like the corporate car, like everybody got a Ford Fusion or something like that. Since those cars are leased by the company, the actual, like the lease, like however much the lease is worth. So say if you lease a Ford Fusion and it's like $20,000 for a 3-year lease, that $20,000 is a tax write-off. The mileage on that car is not a tax write-off, but fuel is. if you use your personal vehicle for work, you can write off mileage and fuel for for business use of your vehicle. But if your actual vehicle is owned or leased by your company, you can't write off mileage. You can only write off the purchase value of the vehicle or the lease. And bank fees. So credit repair is considered high risk. So every transaction that I process through any of my credit card merchants, they hold a reserve. So I think my highest reserve is like 10%. So 10% of what I make goes to my reserve. That's something that I can write off in my business because that's a business expense. So anytime that you have to spend money for something business related, you just need to figure out what category does this fall up under. You can also do like meals and entertainment, but you can only do 50% of like what the total is. So if I had a business lunch with somebody and the tab was $20, I charge it to my business debit card, I can only write off $10 of that. What else? Something to take into consideration when you guys are keeping up with expenses and you are preparing to get your taxes filed and you are filing your business. Don't be the person who made $100,000 in business and had $100,000 in write-offs. Especially if you are in a position where you want to use your actual business. You'd be surprised. Like I see people do all the time. If you want to use your business to show like, hey, I made this much and I want to use my business revenue or my business income as proof of income to be able to go get a mortgage or be able to go get like a loan for commercial property investment or something like that. Like if you made 100K and you wrote off 100K, you technically don't have a business or your business is like in the hole. So they're not going to use that as income. So just be mindful, like you want to make sure that your business is actually a profitable business. And that you are not just blowing money to be blowing money or just writing off stuff to not have to pay taxes on it. Unless you are like Amazon or like these big conglomerate corporations, you're going to have to pay your taxes. So
yeah, asked, so she says, so I can write off things like Asana and ConvertKit.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I use Canva a lot in my business expense. I've got like a Windows 365 subscription, business expense. What else? The CRM system that I use Credit Repair Cloud and Active Campaign, business expense. If you use any like funnel platforms like ClickFunnels, it's $97 a month, I think, for their base package, business expense. Literally anything that you use to make money in your business is something that you can write off. If you hired a professional, like say, like aside from like graphic design and stuff like that, like if you do like any professional development, like people go to these workshops and seminars, a lot of times when you see business owners there, like that shit is a tax write-off. We writing it off. It's a business expense. So I tell people like the tax code and the way the taxes are set up, it's made for businesses. Like people complain about Amazon not paying taxes and all of this. Like, don't complain about it. Use that to your advantage. Like if you are a small business owner, grow at Amazon, or just right now take advantage of how the tax system is set up. What we got next? We got questions, but how to find me. So Instagram, that's where I do like most of my credit and like financial posting and things of that nature. So Instagram and Facebook, Credit Queen Irene. You guys can find me on Twitter, Irene Peasy. That's kind of like my hangout. I think like every other day I try to drop some like financial knowledge. I also have a download for you guys. So it's a checklist with the 19 fields or the 19 categories of things that you can write off in your small business. And that's a free download for you guys. I don't know where to put that. Hold on, should I stop sharing? Sure.
Yeah, send
Hey.
me the link and then I'll sorry, I'm just trying to make sure my blue ain't on camera. Send me the link and I'll drop it in the comments, and then I'll also send out like a follow-up email with,
Okay.
yeah, there we go, with the information.
So that's the link to the free download and my referral link for QuickBooks. So if you guys sign up with QuickBooks using my link, you'll get whatever plan that you select for 50% off. I'm cheap. I like to save money.
This is good. I was just about to sign up for QuickBooks and I was like, oh, let me wait.
No, go ahead and do it. And it's so, when I tell y'all, it's so easy to use. Like, it's so easy to use. And they've got like a mobile app. So all I do is just sit and go through QuickBooks and, oh, okay, approve, approve. And then even if you don't approve it, it'll automatically like categorize it. But I like to go through my actual transactions. And because I have very bad spending habits, even when it comes to my business, I cannot tell you how much crap I've bought. Like, oh, I would have used this in Hannah Financial. So just actually seeing the transactions and like going through and approving, denying, it feels good to be able to see where your money is going or what you got going on.
Let me see. Does anyone in the comments have any questions? What's QuickBooks? I think you missed that part, Rakia. It's like a bookkeeping website.
Platform. Yep.
Yeah, I'll let Irene answer that.
Yeah, so it's basically it's a bookkeeping platform. So it connects to like your business bank account and business credit cards, and it will literally categorize all of your expenses into like the categories that they need to go for bookkeeping. So when you do go to file your taxes at the end of the year, like it calculates everything, and you'll know what goes where for your tax preparer when you file your taxes.
I just added another question, but I'll read it out loud. Maurice asks, so how would I separate from my business if I filed as a solo prop?
Oh, as a sole proprietor, you need to change how you're registered with the state, and I think you need to update your EIN number with the IRS. There's no way that you can like backdate it, but you can definitely change like your filing status and your business type, because Hannah Financial was an LLC for the first 2 years in business, and I was an S corp because I needed to put myself on payroll, so I'm not paying that self-employed tax.
Brian says, would you recommend QuickBooks over Xero?
Yes, I think that's what I used before I used QuickBooks. I'm going QuickBooks all day, and it's the like most popular bookkeeping software for people who do bookkeeping and things of that nature. And you can backdate it too. So say you open a business bank account in like April last year and you sign up for QuickBooks today, you can, as long as it's the same like bank account numbers and stuff, you can actually sign up for QuickBooks and backdate it to April, and it'll still categorize everything out of your bank account.
So while you're here, I think people may still have questions to ask in the inbox, but based off of what we were talking about earlier, if you feel comfortable talking about Corona.
Oh, all right, so let's talk about it. Oh, Shay, listen. Oh, wait, no. I don't know what I was just trying to show y'all, but
Hey.
gang, gang. So we're not weird call, because I get a bunch of like weird calls and emails, but somebody from channel 3 here called me because they want to do like a financial segment on the news, and they're like, hey, we'd love for you to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, like let's talk about this. So they're supposed to call me in the morning to tell me like when they want me on the news to cover. Basically, they want to talk about how can you prepare or protect yourself as a consumer, like with all this corona virus and with the economy on the verge of crashing and all this stuff. I always tell people it's better to be proactive than reactive, and I would rather like be over prepared than under prepared. So a lot of companies are giving people the opportunity to like defer payments, waive late payments, things of that nature. I'm letting y'all know even if you are late on credit cards and economy tanks, there is nothing that the government is going to do to remove those late payments. Like, you're going to go through this whole crisis, not take care of your business, be late on stuff, and kill your credit. So a couple of companies, Capital One, Ally Financial, Auto and Personal Loans, Metro PCS, Sprint, T-Mobile, Navy Federal, anybody who has a credit card with a community bank. So Victoria's Secret, Bed Bath & Beyond, Ashley Stewart, New York & Company, they all are offering people the option to call and get payments deferred, call and get late payments waived, but you need to make sure that you call at least a week before you know that you are going to be late. Do not be late on your payment and then call 3 days later like, oh, I was affected by the corona. No, when you call, once you're already late, they are not going to work with you. So you guys need to be proactive. If you know that you are in a situation where the corona pandemic has negatively affected you financially, you need to be proactive with calling to make sure that anything that is reporting to your credit reports is squared away. What else? I know Verizon is not doing any disconnection for personal services, emphasis on personal services. So if you have a Verizon business account and you're late, you're still getting cut off. But if you have Verizon personal cell services, they are not doing any disconnections until May 20th. And if you got Verizon, you know Verizon to cut your shit off with the quickness. Like, oh, you 3 days late, disconnected, Wi-Fi only. That's all you're gonna be doing. So just please be proactive. Like, I think financially, I see so many people like screw themselves over just because they avoid issues or, oh, I don't want to be on hold. I don't want to do this. And it's like, all right, when that late payment drop your score 60 points, like, and they don't remove it, then what? So just be proactive and make sure that you guys are covering your own bases. And even if you feel like right now you have not been financially impacted, like maybe you already have a work from home job, like you never know, like you don't know in a situation. And if you are somebody who's been looking to get into real estate, like this is about to be your moment to shine. Like, don't wait until next year. Don't wait until whatever. A lot of the millionaires that we see today are people who cleaned up during the housing crisis in 2008. Like, we're literally buying doors for pennies on the dollar that are loaded now. So if you know you need to get your credit fixed, to like you still, even with the Fed cutting rates, like you still have to meet certain credit guidelines to be able to get funding from businesses or like mortgage companies and mortgage brokers to be able to do what you want to do. So get your credit together. But like whatever you've been wanting to do financially, you need to do it yesterday. Like you need to get the ball rolling yesterday.
That's helpful.
Yes.
So of course I wouldn't know all those companies.
Yeah, I heard Metro PCS is like paying people's phone bills too.
Oh, wow.
So I heard that though. I like to call myself and get like my own information because you see so much shit floating around. Oh, I'm sorry for saying a bad word in front of you.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
You see so much stuff like floating around on the internet and it's like, So the companies that I listed, I know for sure are companies who are working with people during this pandemic right now. So if they're willing to work for you, please do the work for you and reach out before you are late. Don't wait the day before your bill is due. Like at least call at least a week prior.
Yeah, because I know I've been through that before, but most of the time, if you're going to be late or not.
Exactly.
More than a day before. So
your rent due on the 1st, late after the 5th, you knew on like the 28th that you wasn't paying your rent on the 1st. Like, so just be proactive, y'all. That's really the most important thing. And I'd rather like defer my car note for 3 months and still pay it than not be in a position to pay it and then they not working with me because I waited until I was already late.
Okay, hold on. Somebody has a question. Tia is asking, how would you recommend young adults to build credit? Can we get unsecured credit card from our banks?
So it depends on where you are at credit wise. If you have lower than a 700 FICO score, and emphasis on FICO because we're not dealing with Credit Karma, your actual FICO score. If it's less than 700, get a secure credit card. People get scared of secure credit, but they don't understand that if your credit score is under 700, you're basically that cousin on paper who borrows money and does not like to return it. So I would be a fool to keep giving you money without some type of security in return. Like, and that's basically what secure credit is. Like, all right, you don't look that great on paper right now. And that's fine. Like, we've all been there. You don't look that great on paper right now. So we have to start building credit. And how do you start building credit? If your parents didn't add you as an authorized user when you were 18, and most of them don't because they didn't know about credit. Like my mother and father, they didn't know anything about credit. My mother has had terrible credit her entire life. So my dad. So it kind of is like a trickle down effect. And then they don't teach about it. They don't teach us about credit in grade school and high school. Like they just really started really pushing financial literacy in high school. But yeah, like you gotta start somewhere. Just like with business, it takes money to make money. With your credit, if you look like the cousin that don't like to return the money they borrowed on paper, you're gonna have to put down deposits to start building credit. And a lot of times people will apply for unsecured credit, know that they're not gonna get approved for it, and it's like you're hurting yourself because now you're running up all of these inquiries that you authorize, so they're gonna stay on your credit report. You're running up all of these inquiries to try to get unsecured credit that you don't qualify for. So I tell people like credit is a long game. It's not overnight. It's not instant. Like you have to be able to consistently show that I'm the auntie with the mink and the 800 credit score. Like you got to be able to consistently show that. And that's not something that happens overnight.
That's helpful. That's really helpful. I feel like you was talking to the 21-year-old me.
I had good credit on accident. So my grandpa, and that's who I really got like a lot of my money sense from. He just used to always tell me like, make sure you pay everything on time. Make sure you pay everything on time. So it's like, all right, my payment history is flawless, but grandpa, you didn't tell me that with these credit cards, if I spend $3,000 on a card that they want their $3,000 back. You didn't tell me that's how this went. So yeah, like I had good credit on accident at 20. Yeah. My first brand new car I got when I was 20, it was a Chevy Impala, 2007 Chevy Impala.
Oh,
and you couldn't tell me nothing.
nice.
Nothing at all. I was 20 with a brand new car. I didn't need a cosigner, and then what happened? I got evicted from my first apartment, but I shouldn't have got evicted because so in Ohio, if you can prove that like you had in some apartments here, you have to like prove your income. So in some apartments, like you could just get your credit ran. They don't ask for proof of income and you can get approved. If I had to actually show proof of income and I can prove to you that I no longer meet like whatever income guidelines that you put in place, if I can show that to you, you're supposed to let me out of my lease. So that's what happened to me. I went from working 45 hours a week every single week to 32 hours a week. I took my paycheck stubs to the leasing office and told them I had just renewed my lease. I told them like, yo, I need to move because I can't afford this rent. The lady told me the only option that I had was to stay in my apartment, get evicted, and fight it in court. So I ended up moving out anyways, and I had a lawyer. I had to change of address with the post office. I moved out of that apartment in February. I didn't get any mail from my old apartment until August.
Oh, wow.
And by then, they sent the court papers to my old apartment, but I missed the court date. So they won the judgment against me, and they garnished my wages for like $12,000.
Oh, my gosh.
And if you ever had your wages garnished, it is 25% of your pay after taxes. So if you bring home $300 a week after taxes, They're taking 25% of that. And that was the start of my credit fall off. I think when I moved out of the apartment, my credit score was like a 740. And when I paid off the judgment, all the collections I had, all the charge-offs I had, my credit score was in like the 400s.
Oh, shit. So you've been there, done that.
Yeah. It was funny because when I have like credit clarity calls, people are like, Irene, you ain't got to explain nothing to me. Like, my credit score was in the 400s. I spent, when my grandpa passed, he left me some money. We get some money, what we want to do when we got shit credit. Oh, let me pay off everything. My credit score should be up. So I paid off $30,000 worth of stuff on my credit. My credit score, I think my highest one went from a 410 to a 422. And that's when I'm just like, oh, something ain't right. Something ain't right. So that was, okay.
From Kendrick. He says, do you suggest that I have a high yield savings account for my business account as well as my savings account?
I feel like high yield is like stuff dealing with investments. You need something that you have access to. Like, in a lot of times, like high yield accounts, you don't really have immediate access to. So you just want to make sure whatever savings account that you use is something that you have access to. Like, I have a savings account for my taxes, and because I know I'm very self-aware when it comes to how I am with money. Like, I'm very self-aware. So I know that if I see an extra $4,000 in my business bank account after I've already put money aside for taxes, after I've already paid payroll, after I've already did everything, I know I'm going to be tempted to spend it. So what do? I transfer that to savings too. Like, you got to go. So it's really just, how financially aware are you of yourself? Like, are you somebody who is living check to check? Are you somebody who likes to spend obnoxious amounts of money and not take care of your bills? Like, you just really got to be self-aware and find out like what works for you. But you should at least have a business check-in and a business savings, because you need to be putting money away for taxes.
I know for me, I would have to have my savings in somewhere I can't access immediately.
I got a Navy Federal checking account. And since we have one branch, but it's in the federal building and it's downtown, I never go there.
Exactly. I have a Pentagon Federal Credit Union account, and that's where I keep a lot of like savings, because I know that I can't go there. I don't have a card to that account. So, I mean, I do have some transfer set up for emergency, but like I rarely, like I recently did a transfer to pay off a big debt amount. But other than that, I rarely will touch that account, because I just know if I have a card to it, it's done. So I just can't have a card.
That's me. Because I had a savings account with Chase, and that's who I do my banking with, and it just was not good. So I ended up getting a Navy Federal account, and I just ACH like whatever I need to there. Like, here you go, out of sight, out of mind. And I'm lazy, so like I'm not walking. It would be like a 10-minute walk, but I don't like parking downtown. I'm just not going to the federal building for anything. Like,
yeah. Well, let's see. So, Stackers, do you have any more questions? I want to make sure I get everybody's questions before there's any logging off. Thank you, Kendrick and Tia and Rakia. Who else is asking questions? For asking questions. I think David. I'm not sure who else. I don't know why my son is like trying to lean into the desk. I have no idea what that's about. This way. Hey. Just gonna, okay, well, there are no more questions, I guess. So we'll have the recording available for a limited amount of time. Like, we'll send the email out with the recording information, with the link to download the checklist, and also with the 50% off for QuickBooks link. And on Hannah Financial, there's a whole bunch of other good stuff on that website. And Yeah, I would patronize it if I were you. Definitely, if you want to go get your credit fixed.
Listen, and Google me. I got reviews. So I know it's a whole bunch of people doing credit repair with no, you can't find them besides Twitter. So, but no, I've got a pretty decent like online footprint. So you guys can like go read reviews.
Somebody trustworthy to put,
Yeah,
you don't want
you
to
need it.
just, you know how it be in these Twitter streets.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you guys. Very informative. People are just saying thank you in the chat. I know you can't see it, but they're just saying thank
You
you.
guys are very welcome.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna click off of here. But thank you again, Irene. I'm gonna send a follow-up email. I'll probably send a draft to you first. It'll be really short and sweet before I
Okay.
send to everybody else. And the recording, I think, will come to me like in an hour from now. Zoom will process
Okay.
the link, so I'll send you
Cool.
the recording too.
I'm about to go and cook dinner since we're on lockdown and
Yeah.
I can't go and
Okay,
eat
so
in restaurants or anything.
I'm about to go have a bath. Somebody's
Man,
stinky.
we've been waiting. Like
Right.
I've been over here doing my business. What's
Right.
up?
Alrighty. Thank you again.
Thanks
Bye.
everybody for watching, and I look forward to the email.